Welcome back to our series on how to create your ideal demo reel that will get you hired. In the last video, we covered what it is that recruiters and the decision makers are looking for when watching your animation. In this episode, we're going to be covering how recruiters actually sit down and watch your reels. Recruiters can get sent hundreds of demo reels to watch, and sometimes there just aren't enough hours in the day to watch the whole way through. So how do you keep the recruiter watching beyond the 5-second mark and get them to give you a call? Let's hear from someone who makes those decisions. Lance Lafort runs the Lafort Talent Group, an agency dedicated to recruiting artists in the creative industries. Lance was a guest on one of our A Conversation With episodes, and this is what he had to say.
Always lead with the strongest piece, whatever it is. And if you can't figure it out, pick your top two and make the other one number two. But basically, the elevator door is open. If there's crap in the elevator, the door is closed and someone walks away. If the elevator door is open, there's something really wow in there, you're going to hold the doors for a second to look at it, right? So basically, the most important thing is to lead with your absolutely best thing. And I'll tell you, there's a guy that did a million years ago, a modeling reel. And I remember it was a junky, kind of like an old Ford Model T or Model A or something, in the early 1900s car or truck. But instead of doing the standard turntable, which everyone does on modeling reels, he animated this little clip where it falls from the sky and it hits the ground, and everything, because it's an old jalopy, everything shook for a second, and then the turntable started. And I'm like, oh man, that guy got me with that. It was like a 3-second drop, and I'm like, woo, right? Because I don't see that every day, right? And so, and like a simple trick, and it probably didn't take him very long, but I was like, oh, that was clever. That was sneaky, right?
David Hubert is the CEO and co-founder of Agora Studio. He has spent years building a studio from the ground up, and much of that time has been spent recruiting the right people. During one of our live Q&A sessions, David shared his thoughts on how he generally watches demo reels.
We're usually going to pay attention to the first 5 to 10 seconds of the show reel. And at that point, we have 50% of our, mind that is set. Then we're going to scrub a little bit, like, okay, what is in 30 seconds after? And what is, so not scrub through it, but just, fast forward in, okay, well, the first shot was great. What is in the middle of the show reel? Okay, it's still pretty good. What is at the end? And if those 3 different points were, interesting enough, then might listen to, maybe not if it's a 6-minute show reel, but if it's 2 minutes, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, then I'm going to look at all of it. But usually, if the first 2 shots are like, ooh, I'm really not sure, and I fast forward 30 seconds and there's another one there that like, ooh, I'm really not sure. If I have 100 show reel to do, I'm going to put it in the no pile or not yet pile, let's say eventually, where this is leading. So I would definitely say start with your strongest work, and keep it short. A 1 minute good show reel is plenty enough. Don't make a 3-minute average show reel with 1 minute of good stuff, because it might just not go in the direction that you hope it will.
During that same stream, Brent George shared his own insights on how he watches demo reels. Now, Brent has been in the animation industry for over 25 years, spending over a decade as an animation director on some big AAA game titles. As you can imagine, when crewing up for a major production, there are a lot of spots to fill. Here's how Brent selects the artist that will most likely get a phone call.
I do something similar that David does. There's truth to the idea that if you don't catch my eye quickly, then you're going to end up in just the I'm not going to bother pile. Because I'm not going to watch the whole reel if it's like it's just not good enough. I don't have enough time in the day. I wish I could, and I wish I could reply to every recruit or every person trying to get the job and let them know exactly why they didn't. So I have done that in the past, but in big hiring binges where there's a whole pile of people coming in, there's just not enough time to be able to do that. So Yeah. So if I'm in a pinch, I'm just going to go quickly. And as soon as it seems interesting, then I often kind of just put it in a pile to then like look at it a bit more carefully later. So I'm kind of just trying to separate the chaff from the wheat a little bit very quickly. And then I go back and look at that short list and then kind of dive a little deeper and take a look, because there's only so many seats, right? We might be looking for one or two people, and we need to figure out which one of those seats are going to get filled by the possibly really big stack of maybes. But it's nice to go from like a stack of 150 maybes down to a stack of 25. That's going to make the job a little easier, and hopefully then down to like 10. And then it's not going to just be my call. It's going to be, obviously, I would then be getting the opinion of the other animators on the team, possibly even some of the other directors on the team, and just get their input. So it's not just me. I'll have my instincts, but I love making decisions by committee when it comes to hiring, especially because chemistry is important. It's not just about your actual skill level. It's also a little bit about who you are and what you're bringing to the table and your personality. If you can shine that through on your demo reel, you're going to catch people's attention there too.
So, in summary, recruiters and directors only have a very short amount of time to get through all of the reels that land in their inbox. We turn to our followers on social media and ask them what keeps them watching a reel beyond the 5-second mark. But before we share some of the responses, if you're wanting to land a job in the 3D animation industry and would like a professional to look at your portfolio, you can book a review with one of the Agora.Community industry experts to get some valuable feedback on your reel. So, what did some of our followers have to say about watching demo reels? Sandeep, animation supervisor at Hornbill Animation Studio, says, I would like to see more of their personal works or tests than more of professional shots. I believe there will be one's personal touch to their respective shots. Raymond Ross, lead animator at Epic Games, says it has to be entertaining and well executed. You can tell within the first 5 seconds if mechanics are not working, the principles are lacking, and if the idea is boring. And lastly, Jacob Palmer, animation director at Ascendant Studios, says you can tell in that first 5 seconds the sense of fundamentals. But anything with a unique rig or staging helps stand out, since many people use the same free rigs. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to join us in the next video where it's time to start crafting your reel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like and bell icon to know when the next video is released. And until then, as always, stay tuned and stay animated.